Hello, Tito Jeff here, Ormac City, Leyte, the Philippines. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I lost 80 pounds, and I've been keeping it off for several years now. It's not easy. Hello, Tito Jeff, and like I said, I'm going to talk about how I lost 80 pounds and I have kept it off. Back in 2020, I weighed 300 pounds. I met my wife online at FilipinoCupid.com. January 10th, 2020, I came to visit and probably gained weight while I was here. I think I weighed a little less. So anyway, I got back and I weighed almost 300 pounds, 298. And I was in love. I had fallen in love with my wife, and that helped. I was not lonely anymore. I think that was the biggest change in my life that helped me to lose weight. I was really, really lonely. For several years, I was a caretaker for my parents as they aged. My mother was difficult. She was difficult to take care of. Lots of trips to the emergency room for pain, for all kinds of things. I was up late at night with both of them. I had to go to the grocery store. I wound up paying for my mom's groceries and some other things. And fortunately, I had a good job. I had a job that had a schedule that allowed me to do that. So, but still, it was stressful. It was very stressful. And so I ate. I ate a lot, and out of stress, out of loneliness, sometimes to feel good, sometimes out of boredom, and sometimes just out of habit. I learned a lot of eating habits over my years. Always clean your plate. You got to clean your plate. You got to eat everything on your plate. That's one thing, which is not bad, but if you take it too far, it is. If you're full, stop eating. Save the food on your plate. So that's it. I met my wife. That changed my life completely. I am so happy. I'm living here in the Philippines. I love my wife. She's the best wife in the world. And if none of you guys argue with me, don't let your wives know. All right. So, one of the things I did, and I did lots of different things, okay? It wasn't one thing. There's no magic bullet to weight loss. Don't let anybody fool you. You're not going to go on the steak and egg diet and lose weight forever. Now, you might do it if you're really disciplined, but it gets boring. Those are called elimination diets. And after a while, you start missing things. And so, what did I do? I ate the things that I always liked. I ate all the foods that I used to eat, but I controlled my portion size. I slowed it down, dialed it down. So I worked a 12-hour shift in my last job. When I met Marcel, I was working a 12-hour shift, had about a 45-minute commute both ways. So 13 and a half hours a day were spent with my work. I didn't have time to come home and make lunch for the next day or get up and make it in the morning. So on my days off, my day before I went back to work, I would make lunches and suppers for while I was at work. So I ate my supper at work, my dinner, my evening meal at work, whatever you want to call it, supper or dinner. Somebody asked me one time, "What do you call it, Jeff?" I said, "I don't care what they call it as long as they call me." So I just want to be called for dinner or supper, whatever you want to call it. Now, I took my lunches. I took two meals plus some snacks. And I bought a little box about that big around, Tupperware, Rubbermaid. Rubbermaid is what it was, about that big. And it would hold just enough food to fill my stomach. Your stomach's probably about the size of your fist. That's what I've heard. So if you make a meal, a, a portion of food about the size of your fist, that'll fill you up. That's all you need. So I started doing that. And I made different kinds of meals. One of my favorites was just green beans and some meat, chicken or pork or steak or whatever. And I would take a half a can of green beans, put them in a Rubbermaid box, put a little meat in there, frozen. I used to buy frozen chicken chunks, what I've chopped up, chicken breast that was cut up, put it in there, stick it in the microwave with some olive oil for 2 or 3 minutes. And that kind of cooks it a little bit most of the way through. And then I would heat it up again at work the next day for a couple of minutes, and that finished cooking it. So that was kind of boring. I'll admit, some days I got tired of eating the same thing for lunch and supper for 3 or 4 days in a row, whatever my schedule was. But it worked. if it limited calories. Now I also counted calories, so I knew what I was taking in, and I knew at my weight I was burning a lot of calories. So if I just cut back, I was going to lose weight, and I did. So, and then I would have breakfast at home before I left work. My shift started 6 a.m. I got up at 3:30. I couldn't just get up and run to work, like some of the kids did at work. I'd get up, I'd have breakfast, I'd read my Bible, have a little prayer time, maybe practice my guitar, read the news, something like that. Just a little relaxation time before I headed off to work. And so for breakfast, I might have bacon and eggs, sausage and eggs, sausage and French toast, sausage and pancakes. But I didn't make too much. Again, I kept the portion size down, but it was something that I really enjoyed eating. It's good to have food that you like. It's not wrong to take pleasure in eating, but it is wrong to eat for pleasure. Because if you eat for pleasure, you're going to overeat, overeat, overeat. And that's the way I used to be. Buffets, that's all buffets are. It's just gorging yourself. You really enjoy it up to a point. And sometimes, even after you're full, you don't really enjoy it. You just got to get your money's worth. Yeah, you got to get 3 plates in, get your money back. Yeah, you got to get your money back. So unlimited snacks between meals. Sometimes I would take just some carrots and celery and a little bit of peanut butter. Something simple, something low calorie. Sometimes I would take some cookies, but only a couple of like vanilla wafer cookies or something like that. And it was a snack. When I finished, I got up and I left the break room. I ate in the break room, I finished my meal, I got up and I left. I didn't sit around and smell everybody else's food uh, or decide I want to eat something else. I weighed myself every day. Some people say you shouldn't do that. And there's some truth to that. But I think weighing every day kept me honest. I knew when I was losing weight, and I knew when I wasn't. Now, some days my weight was down, same or up, and it shouldn't have been because I knew I was controlling my calories. But sometimes water in your body will fluctuate. And so you don't get discouraged, but weighing myself every day kept me honest. I walked. I walked at work. I'd go out for walks for break. Now, walking, you won't burn a lot of calories. So you're not going to lose weight just by walking, unless you walk 10 miles a day or something like that, something ridiculous. But what it does is it helps your body to relax. It stimulates your brain, I think. And it's just, you're staying busy. That's the other thing. Stay busy. When I was not busy, I was bored still to this day. To this day, if I'm not busy doing something, I'm just sitting on the TV couch watching TV, I'll get bored and I want to eat something just because I'm bored. I don't know why. Now, there's some other things that I learned. I'll talk about that in a minute. Mindfulness, emotional eating. When I'm upset, I eat. When I'm happy, I eat. When I'm depressed, I eat. Now, not everybody's like that, but I ate every time I got a change in emotion. So I had to be aware of that. And even to this day, I think all of my life, and it goes back to some events in my life, and I won't go into that. Sometimes I feel myself tensed up. I'm just tense. I'm not making a fist or anything, but I'm just doing that to demonstrate. My jaw is clenched, uh, my body is tensed, and I'll become aware of it, and I try to now, and I relax. Take a deep breath and relax. And you'll be surprised how much that will help you control your appetite. Be mindful, relax, do some relaxation exercises. Now, there were lots of bad habits that I learned. One thing was my dad. My dad was an obese man. I learned, clean your plate. If something was on the table and I didn't like it, I had to eat it or I would go hungry. So I learned to like a variety of foods. There's not much that I don't like. And so I tell people that's not always a good thing. So, cleaning your plate, eating everything that's put before you, uh, eating past fullness. I learned to do that somehow. When I was in college, I was depressed. I learned how to eat pizza. I remember the first time I ate a 15-inch pizza by myself and drinking soda with it. And I was so proud of myself. I thought that was awesome. I ate a 15-inch pizza. And so I did that a lot the rest of my life. 16-inch pizzas. And just overate, just stuffed myself, you know. So I had to learn to be mindful and control my behavior. Now, one of the other things I learned from my dad, and he didn't know he was doing it, and it's not his fault. My dad was a Baptist preacher, and we lived out in the country in Kentucky, and he would drive to Louisville sometimes. One, he was going to seminary, so I'd go with him to a seminary and spend the day with him sometimes. Number two, he would go to the hospitals in Louisville. There were big hospitals that some of our church members would go and be there. So he would go visit. He would go visit his church members and pray with them and talk to them. And that's his duty. And he did it. He loved on people that he was a good pastor. Anyhow, I won't go into that. Anyhow, as soon as we finished, when we left the church, we went and ate. I remember that. And shopping, we would go to a nearby city to shop for school clothes or something like that. When we finished shopping, we went and ate. Uh, Anytime we finished, I'll just call it a task, a trip, something like that. We would go eat. And that became a habit. I noticed that one day. I went to the doctor. I was having trouble with my blood pressure. And I'd go to the doctor about once a month or so to get checked up. And I went to work at 8 o'clock and an appointment at 10:30, 9:30, I think. And then it was close to the office. But I finished at the doctor's office by 10, and I'd already had breakfast. But I'd finished the task. I went through the drive-through at McDonald's, and I got another breakfast, and I enjoyed it. But I just that was the first day I think I noticed it. I said, I just do this because I've just completed a task. It's a habit I learned from my dad. So lots of habits that you learn from your family, uh, and I don't, that's just one example for me. Um, I have changed gradually. This hasn't happened all at once, but I do remember I went from about 300, 298 down to 255. When I was at 298, I could not bend over and pick up an ink pen off of the ground. I would fall over. Just couldn't do it. And I was at a big grocery store, a big box store one day, buying groceries, Myers in Lexington, Kentucky. And I had to always take a checklist with me, a shopping list. Dropped my ink pen, reached over and picked it up off the ground without getting down on one knee. And here comes this guy, an old guy about my age, uh, down the aisle. And he looked at me and says, "Good job." And I knew what he meant. I knew what he meant. And I was just, yep, I've lost 45 pounds, dude. I am so happy and I feel so much better. So, but it didn't happen all at once. It took time. And my weight has fluctuated. So don't get discouraged if your weight goes up and down. Holidays are hard. Sometimes they're hard. And I'll lose weight for a while, and all of a sudden I start eating a lot. I don't know what that's about, but I do it. I find good things to eat, things that I like. So I eat bacon and eggs. I eat steak. I eat um, liver, cheese, and crackers, or liver cheese sandwich, or hot dogs. I eat French fries. There's no limit to what I eat food wise, but I have to keep the portion size down. And I can't eat everything I want to eat. So that's it. And staying busy, like I said that before, stay busy. Find something to occupy your mind and your time between work or task or something. It doesn't have to be strenuous, just something to keep your mind. I think keeping your mind occupied is very important to losing weight. I tried vegetarian diet, and that was okay for a while. I did it for about 3 months, and I lost a little weight, but not as much as you think you would. And I tried the keto diet, and it was okay. And I tried the Mediterranean diet. I tried the DASH diet. I can't think of the other names of diets that I tried, but I tried them all. And I lost a little weight on all of them, but after a while, these elimination diets get boring. You start craving stuff that you like, that you used to be able to enjoy. And you can still do that. You can still have a little ice cream, but just don't eat, a tub of ice cream. Just keep it simple. Keep a little quarter cup of ice cream or something like that for a snack, and put that in your calories. And you're going to have to make an adjustment at lunch or supper or breakfast to account for those calories. So just compensate for something that you really enjoy, and you can go out and have fun with your friends. One of the big things I had trouble with, especially in America, was going out to eat. Restaurants serve humongous meals, and I told my doctor this one time. I said, I go out to eat. I got to eat everything. That's what I was trained to do. From a kid, eat. You know, eat all the food on your plate. And he said, well, what you do is when you get there, you take part of the food off your plate and ask for a doggy box before you start eating, and you put it in there. Well, that's a good idea, but I didn't want to do that. That's not why I went out to eat. So I rejected that idea, but it's really a good one. And but yeah, going out to eat, uh, I had to learn to find places that didn't overload me with food, and if I did, I would stop and I would get a doggy box. So you have to make changes, little changes, gradual changes. Enjoy your food, but don't let it control your life. Don't get upset if you overeat a little bit. Make it up the next day. You start back on track. Weigh yourself every day and enjoy your life. But I've kept off 80 pounds. Now, when I came to the Philippines, I lost another. I had already lost 60 pounds. When I came here, I lost another 20. Partly because my diet changed, partly because I was busy. I was exercising a lot. My renovations of my house, things like that. I was busy. I was occupied. I ate a little bit better, although we eat a lot of fried foods here in the Philippines. Diet here in the Philippines is not significantly more healthy than in the United States, but it can be. So I have in total lost 80 pounds, and I've kept it off. It's fluctuated a little bit by about 5 or 10 pounds. It'll go up, go down, go up, go down, and I need to get back on it. And it's hard to do. Don't get down on yourself if you can't lose weight. Just keep trying, keep chugging along, and pray about it. Thank you for watching my video. Tito Jeff here, Ormoc City, Leyte, the Philippines, and please like and subscribe.